I'm here live here on Humber Wave Radio and to Hull and Back podcast with me, Eddie Wright.
And me, Christian Sorensen.
Me, Nathaniel Whitto.
And me, Paul Wright.
And that went swimmingly tonight, so well done. That bit of off-air preparation worked very well for us, didn't it? Good evening to everybody on the radio. Good evening to everybody on the podcast. Really good to have you tuned in. No Joe this week. He's gone out and he's getting drunk tonight, and that's the word we have to use because we're live on the radio. We're not using that other word. He's getting drunk tonight with his friend.
Right.
That's what he's doing. He's going to have a good time.
And he's left us to talk about a few things tonight. He's giving me instructions because you know what Joe's like. He likes to give some instructions. And I've got instructions that before Christmas, we did our 59 signings under a John, and we ranked them from 1 to 59. He's told me that I've got to tell the people of the radio what they were because we hadn't finished them off. So I'm really quickly going to run through what we did 59 to 1. Is that all right with you guys?
Of course.
Yeah,
Sure.
So 59, Uriel Selly, 58, Dukan Cynic, 57, Salah Mahand, 56, Liam Walsh, 55, Malcolm Eboe, 54, Bora Adyanak, is that how you say it? I don't know. 53,
Bora.
Harvey Vale, 52, Billy Sharp, 51, Tobias Figueredo, 50, Jason Lakilo, 49, Finley Burns, he's still with us, 48, Marcus Force, 47, Demetrius Pelkas, is he still with us? 46, Ruben Vinagre, Chris Bedier is at 45, 44, Anas Azori, yeah, I've done that all right, 43, Abu Kamara, well, he might have got up a bit since then, might he, after that weekend's performance. Yeah, Marvin Malam's in at 42, Carl Rushworth at 41, Oscar Zambrano at 40, Syed Manesh is at 39, Ryan Allsop at 38, Rachopi's 37, Lotutala's 36, Tete is 35, Traore is 34, Ryan Woods 33, Nathan Baxter's 32, and Vaughan Coville's 31. We're into the top 30 now, thank God for that. James Therlong's in at 30, Scott Twine 29, Tyrell Sellers-Fleming at 28, Harry Vaughan 27, Stephen Alzate 26, he might be going up as well. Abdus Umar, he's in at 25, Cyrus Christie 24, Liam Miller 23, Ryan Giles 22, Noah Ohio 21, Gustavo Puerta, he's in at 20, he might have gone up as well a bit. Mason Bairstow 19, Aaron Connolly 18, Casey Palmer 17, Mohammed Balumi is at 16, Crowley Dramas at 15, Ryan Longman's at 14, João Pedro's at 13, Carl Darlow at 12, and number 11 is Xavier Simons. So the top 10 for a John's best signings since he took over the club. Charlie Hughes is at 10, Ivo Pandor at number 9, number 8's Oscar Estepinian, number 7's Tyler Morton, number 6 Fabio Carvalho, number 5 Liam Delap, number 4 Ozan Tufan, 3's Regan Slater, 2's Jean-Michael Seri, and the best signing that we all agreed with on the night was Jaden Philogene. And that's your 59 signings. Well, that took me a while, and it was a big mouthful for me, so I need a rest now, and everybody's brain's probably hurting. So I'll let you carry on, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I mean, Joe loves to list things. It will be devastated he couldn't do that. He must be quite exhausted, Eddie. It's just kind of sad that by the time we get to about number 40 on there, we're still in players that aren't very good. So it's quite fun to do that.
I think that some of those players could have moved about a bit from what we've done. I mean, Kamara's got to have moved up after his game on Saturday against Leeds. He's got to have got further up that list now, I would have thought. The game before, he probably was about the level that we put him at. So it's amazing what a difference a game makes, isn't it, Christian?
Yeah, it's. I mean, are we just going to say the game, or are we going to say a bit of a masterclass from Ruben Sellers? Because
well, there could have been a bit of that in there as well. You know, Ruben obviously had a good game plan.
Well, you've got to think about also the press conference when he kind of surprised everyone and brought him out as well with Kamara on his side. I mean, obviously the lad was going to be getting a lot of stick anyway for his performance of Middlesbrough. And obviously, I mean, it was a nothing thing that a lot of people kicked off over with regarding the smiley face emoji to one of his mates for getting his first goal. I mean, for fans to kick off at that reason is just wrong. Personally, I think it's a stupid reason to kick off at a player. But I do agree that the timing after you've literally just been called out for having a stinker and one of the reasons why it didn't finish a 0-0 draw, and then to go on that, I think the timing could have been a bit better, and he could have done something a bit privately and messaged the guy instead of making it public, because after that type of finish, you should have realised all eyes were going to be on him. I mean, I'm not saying that he's the sole reason at fault for the goal, because I believe Louis Coyle had his kind of, well, I was close to it in the stands, and I saw Louis Coyle backing off and actually just kind of pass off saying, Kamara, get back, and to tell Kamara to do that when it was a case of, well, no offense, mate, Kamara's already too far back and you were the closest to cut that down, and you didn't have to worry about anyone behind you because Alzate, I think it was Alzate, already had the runner picked up. So it took black to Kamara. I think Ruben did right with bringing him out. A lot of the questions that were asked obviously were last minute kind of brought together for him. And I think the lad answered them well. And not only did he answer them well, when it came to the game against Leeds, the first 5 minutes before the goal, the first 5 minutes of him running, getting stuck in, what happened? You could see it was a different type of player out on the pitch straight away. And the crowd saw it and they were behind him straight away. I mean, I think you gents can all agree the atmosphere against Leeds. I know it's Leeds and it's going to be a better atmosphere regardless, but I think you can still, the positivity that came out from those first 5 minutes, even previous to the goal, you could feel the positivity from the players and it reflected in the fans atmosphere-wise. And just to get the goal, I mean, that through ball into his run was just perfect. It was right on the money, perfect run, and he came out and, I mean, look at how it ended. The lad, well done. I've been his huge critic. I've been a huge critic of his, and I will still say it now. His price tag of $5 million, I still don't think it's right. I still think he's got a teenager mentality, even though he's 21. And I do feel he's a bit lethargic at times, but he had a great game, and I truly hope it wasn't a one-off. I think if he keeps going, he's going to be great. But I want to see consistency from him before I turn around and praise him and say he's the best player that we're getting at the moment. He's got to be the next Villagen. I need to see consistency.
Well put, Christian. Sorry we weren't here last week, by the way. We didn't get home from the match in time to do the podcast last week, so it was a little bit of a rush job. We just didn't manage it, so we apologise for that. Paul, how was Saturday for you?
It was good, a lot better than, was it Wednesday, Middlesbrough. The second half against Middlesbrough, I think it's as poor as we've played under anybody for a long while, to be quite honest. We hardly got out of our half. I understand why they blamed him not coming back, but to be fair, to get a draw, we'd have done well because we was absolutely poor second half. There was nothing. There was about a 10-minute spell when Harry Vaughan came on, made a little bit of difference. But other than that, it was a really poor display. And, yeah, the lad probably rightly gets a bit of flack for not coming back, but to say it was the reason we didn't get the point, I think it's a bit harsh. I mean, all right, the goal, but as you say, Louis Coyle was there. Does he go and engage the winger to try and stop the cross? There's a few things that could have gone on. I think prior to it all, Harry Vaughan's going down the left. He could have gone into the corner, wasted a bit of time. You can get back to all sorts of things. It probably, he needed that kick up to maybe make him, move a little bit better and do a little bit better. But Saturday's game was, as you say, it was a different atmosphere. Leeds obviously brings that atmosphere. People want to beat Leeds. We started really well. I thought first half it was probably even Stephen. We got the goal. They had chances. Second half they scored early. But I even thought after 10 minutes of that, when we were still 1-1, I thought we were still in this game. We've got a good chance. And then, second goal was a disappointing goal to give away because we'd missed one similar in the first half later. When he tried to score, the kid squared it back and the wingers put it in. And then the third goal, a disaster. And I thought from there, it was probably going to be 4 or 5, to be quite honest. But I've put out on Facebook, whatever it is, I put there wouldn't have been many strikers scored that second goal for us. He has got to be one of the top strikers we've had, because most people think the goalie saved it, it's going over the bar or whatever. And he was there. 3 defenders was around him at the time as well, and he's got him before them all to score. And I think that's one of the good things about Pedro. That experience, he's gone for that ball. Like, these other people have got there, but it's a top striker to do that, because, as I say, I think most people would have turned their heads and thought, oh, it's over, the keeper's saved it or whatever, but he didn't. And we got back into the game, and I think we deserved the equaliser in the end, to be quite honest. And to be fair, Places had a good run late on. Maybe could have scored, I don't know. I think he ran out of a bit of steam, to be quite honest. He'd taken about 3 or 4 on. But I thought it was a real good display, and, let's hope we can carry it on. Let's hope it's just not a one-off. This is the trouble with City. You often find they play well in a game and then the next game's completely different. I'm hoping, obviously the Doncaster game's a bit neither here nor there in some respects, because it won't be the same team, I won't think. But you'd like to think now they've got a few new signings looking as though they're coming in. The confidence must be a little bit better now after a good display against a good team. And to be fair, the 3 matches we played, we've got 4 points. In the first part of the season, the same 3 games, we've got nothing. So there's obviously been some improvement. I just hope it continues, and I think if it does, I think we can easily get ourselves out the mire, to be quite honest, because we have got some good players, and they just need, I think, a bit of confidence. Hopefully it'll come, as I say, against Millwall this week. I don't think it'll be the same team, so you can't really judge them on that. But I was really pleased with Saturday. You come away with a smile on your face, especially 3-1 down with 10 minutes to go. No better feeling than come back and get a draw against the team. They were singing with champions and all this, and we put it right back at them, didn't we? So it was a really good display, I thought, especially the last 10 minutes. But I thought we played well most of the game. I don't think there was out of it in, and it probably a 10-minute, 15-minute spell after half time. But after that, I thought we competed quite well.
Yeah, no, I think, when you look at it, I sort of said that we didn't have as much quality as they had. In the team was a little bit less quality in ours, a lot less quality in our squad than is in the team that Leeds have got. They've got some really quality players. We haven't got that quality, but the thing that we did seem to have on Saturday was the togetherness. I was very lucky on Saturday. I'm just going to make some of you boys jealous here. I got an invite to the Circle restaurant on Saturday, and I was sat with the big wigs. I had a 3-course meal, which obviously I don't really need, but I enjoyed it. Half time, they brought us a lamb kofta with some sauce to dip in as well. Full time cheese board.
Oh,
I mean, the only snag was because it was in the Circle restaurant. They allow I think we're allowed to call them the dirty Leeds fans to go in there as well. And they were in there as well, and they were obviously shouting quite loud when they went 3-1 up. When it got to 3-3. They weren't shouting as loud. And after the game, there was a lot of cheese boards from the Leeds tables that was untouched because they'd gone. And us Hull fans was there happy. So that was the tale of the Circle restaurant from Saturday. Thanks to the Tigers Trust for taking me along. It was really good of them, and Hull City Official Supporters Club as well. The invite was lovely, and the food went down really, really well. And I'm now a stone heavier, but it was enjoyable.
Good. Yeah, good. The one thing I want to bring up, obviously, I'm a bit jealous, Eddie. I do like the sound of it. So, but one thing I want to actually mention is from Paul mentioning about Pedro. That guy, we see it week in and week out, and he doesn't really get much for it, but he does put a lot of effort in. He tries his heart out non-stop. And I just want to say on Saturday, if I could go up to him and shake his hand and thank him for the amount of work he put in, I would love to do that, because he grafted. He tried holding up the ball. He tried shooting. He was trying to run into pockets. He tried linking up play. He put in an absolute shift. I mean, look, I'm not saying the other lads didn't. Everyone put in a shift. They really did. But Pedro, like you said, Paul, he stood out to clean up that second goal, like I said, and their defense would be switched off from a little loose ball. That type of striker is someone that we haven't had in a very long time. The only downfall, and I don't mean this disrespecting to Pedro in any way, is his legs and age, and could he continue to do it week in, week out for 90 minutes? No, he can't. We can tell he can't.
It shocked me, Christian, because you're saying that he can't, but when you look at him,
He is.
I think that when you look at him, I didn't expect him to play 3 games in a week, but he's been doing it. Really, really, really well. He's been actually doing 90 minutes as well, some of them games. And that has shocked me. And as you say, the effort that he put in was great. One of the ones I want to mention is, Paul mentioned it earlier as well, Harry Vaughan being back in the side. I've been really happy to see Harry in the side. And as you said, it was probably the only bright spot of the Middlesbrough game was to see Harry come back on and to do a good performance on the wing. And the effort that you get from Harry is playing for everybody to see. He takes the yellow card at the right point.
That's
what I felt sorry for him. Best part of the crowd went nuts when he did that professional foul. And that's what I felt so sorry for him as well, to do that foul to stop the attack just to lose. I felt sorry for the guy. Harry Vaughan came on with all that energy, didn't he? And the crowd picked up. They were singing his name instantly. They were. And to do that foul, like I said, the crowd was going nuts for it. But to concede after he did that, I just felt so sorry for, because at the end of the day, I was Harry. And can I just say, actually, before I go on to this, I saw Harry warming up on the sideline because, I'm in that section. And though he did his normal little pre-warm up, I watched his interview when he got, I don't know if it was Young Player of the Month last month, was it? Or I believe it was that. And he had an interview saying how he could progress. And he was told, just watch the games before you come on. Watch where you need to be. Watch what the players are doing. And after he did his little bit, he was just stood there, arms folded, doing maybe a little stretch now and then, and he was locked in the game. And when he got subbed on, he saw those pockets run into. I was just so happy for the lad, the way he was with his professionalism. You can tell he's listened to somebody, and to come on like he did. And even when he came on, he came on Saturday, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he's still exact same thing, same warm up. He was stood there for a little bit watching the game after his little warm up. And I was just thinking to myself, he's watching and learning to see where he can get in. And he brought that energy. And it was so nice.
This is the thing for me. When we look at our youth squad that we've got, Harry Vaughan's part of that. I've just seen KLP signed a new deal with Brentford. And I just watched an interview with KLP on signing the new deal. And you look at when KLP came through and actually came into the squad and started playing in the team, we was a little bit short of players, and he broke through because that, was available because of the shortness of players. So he probably came in a bit younger than what he maybe would have done. But getting that chance for us, he's now why he's just signed a deal till 2031 with Brentford. He'll be on mega money. I like to see players from our youth team come through. And I think sometimes you get more from them players than you do of the players that you're going to sign on a lot of money. And for me, Harry can probably do a job for us this season. I don't know what you think, Nathaniel.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's all a bit different now post the Leeds game. But as you said, Christian, he put more effort in the Middlesbrough game than Kamara did. We don't want to put the pressure on him just like he did, what we did a few years ago when he came into the team, that he's as good as Lewis Potter. But again, I would rather sell Amur, get the wages off. He's probably getting paid about 10 times as much as Vaughan. I'd rather have Vaughan in the team than Amur, because at least you'll get the effort. They're pretty much, in silhouette, they're pretty much the same size as well. So just replace.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, right. You're right. It's a good point, and I think Amir, as you say, if we could get something for him in the January transfer window, or load him out somewhere and get that wage off our wage bill and get it somewhere else and be able to play Harry Vaughan instead of him, I'd take that straight away. You can get in touch. There's lots of ways you can do it. I've seen some of the comments coming up already at the bottom of the screen, but you can WhatsApp us on 01482 772 663, as well as commenting on whatever platform you're watching us on. We have had some comments, Nathaniel, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, a few about saying Vaughan's too slow and too small. I mean, it's a bit harsh. We're just praising him.
He
was a number 10.
I think his stature is one of those things that could maybe go against him, but I don't think he's too slow. I think he's pretty pacey, to be quite honest with you. And I think you look at some players and you've got to say that his awareness of the game for a young guy, he's got a really good awareness of the game. And sometimes that can gain you a yard, that awareness of where the ball's going to be or where the ball's going. And your top players know that already. I think, if you look at Dean Windus, we'll bring him up just as one of them. Dean was never the quickest, but he read the game so well that he managed to play at the top level. And if you would have asked a lot of people at a young age, would Dean Windus play in the Premier League? They'd have all said no. So I think that, that's wrong about Harry Vaughan. I think that he's got a good brain on him, and I think he can do quite well for the team.
Yeah, I do. I think he made the nail bang on the head there, Eddie. To be fair, he's one of those players that can read the game very well on and off the ball. And even when he's got the ball, he's running somewhere with knowledge of where his teammates and his next pass already is going to be, or even with the knowledge of he's already going to take somebody on. He's got that energy. I mean, to do that little professional foul that he did kind of proved that he could already see where the problems were up the pitch, because the defenders were back. So what would a normal midfielder usually would have done? They would have just let that player come on. But he saw the overload happening before it actually happened to give away the free kick. So his footballing head is, to be honest, for his age, really good. And that's the thing. Yeah, he's got pace. Yeah, all right, he's small. He doesn't have much weight to him. But, I mean, he plays on the wing. He can play, to be fair, he can play as a number 10 role as well, can't he? Because he likes to do that now and then.
Can I just say, Christian, you wouldn't have thought that he was a small guy with not much weight on him in the way that the Leeds player fall down twice.
Fell down, got ripped off. Yeah, no, I agree. You know what? I agree. And I think there's still a lot to come from Harry over the years whilst we have him. And he's just somebody that, if someone said, oh, yeah, Harry Vaughan's coming on as a sub, I'd be like, perfect, great time, doesn't matter. You're not kind of worried when Harry Vaughan comes on, especially in the attacking sense anyway. I think one of the other things that we need to look at, though, with respect to Leeds as well, was our midfield in general. I mean, Puerta, what a game that guy had. I thought
he's a monster, isn't he, really, for his size? He really gets stuck in and puts himself about, I think Alzati played well as well.
Alzati had a great game. I mean,
alternating every week which one plays better. Those two.
Yeah, the only person we can really look at and go, not again, is Slater. And it's not because of his effort, it's because he can't score from 4 yards out.
Yeah, he's having a bad run in front of goal, isn't he?
Yeah. He'd be the top goal scorer for the team. If you
to be fair, he has got into them positions, hasn't he? Which is credit to him. But you'd like to think he would be putting him away. Really, I mean, he's had 2 or 3 really good chances, and he hasn't put any of them away. To be fair, and it's a shame because they're getting them positions where nobody else has, and if he'd have put 1 or 2 of them away, it would have looked a lot better, wouldn't it? It's just missing all 3. There was all reasonably good chances. So I don't know. He just maybe needs a confidence boost or something like that. I don't know what he needs, because he used to be reasonably good in front of goal, I think. But at the moment, he just can't do anything.
World is only.
Probably is a bit of confidence with him as well, I would think. I wanted to look at the just because we've been talking about it. Harry Vaughan's got 18 months left on his contract, by the way, just in case you was wondering. So he's here till June 2026. So we do still have a bit of time to work with Harry and to see if it can work in both our favours, and maybe he'll get that contract extension the same as what KLP's just got at Brentford. So that'd be good. But I do think you're right with Alzate. He's starting to get fit now. I don't think he was fit when he first came in, from what I've heard. He didn't look fit for the first few games, but he's starting to get a bit of fitness now. He's got a great footballing brain. You can see he's thinking ahead all the time, and he knows exactly what's around him all the time, which is really good. Puerta, when he first came in, I wouldn't have paid him in buttons, I'll be honest with you. But, since he started to get his feet and found himself in this league, he's doing really, really well. And, he's been a good sign as well. So the midfield is looking, pretty good at the moment, to be honest. As you say, Slater, he runs around all day, puts so much effort in that you couldn't drop him, even though he has missed a few sitters recently. The thing with it is that you'd rather somebody else be there probably instead of Slater to take that ball. And is it because we're playing him a little bit too high up, and should we drop him back a little bit and give somebody else the chance to be there that might be a bit more composed and be able to take that opportunity when it comes to him? I don't know.
Well, that comes down to the signings, or the rumoured signing that Hull haven't really announced, but I believe that, Crooks, Matt Crooks, for those of you who don't know, apparently has signed for Hull. Apparently,
he's had his medical, hasn't he?
He's had his medical, and I mean, for those that don't know, he had a great stint at Middlesbrough. Really good player. I'd say he's quite similar to Slater.
He's about twice his height.
But twice his height, yeah. He's a bit of a grafter, he runs around a lot, but can score in those positions. But
we
then
are
again,
height as well, aren't we? So
we are.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, Matt Crooks. I mean, at the moment, he's over in America. Well, no, he's actually in Hull at the moment, but he was in America at Salt Lake. So I don't know how he's done that. I haven't looked into any of that. I'm not going to lie, but I guess for the call to come back over to the England says something, especially Hull. So to get another midfielder, he's someone that I toast who's actually put out there in I don't know what was that off YouTube there. I agree. He's a player that we've needed, or someone like him we've needed at the club for absolutely years. I mean, do we want to go into all the potential ins? I mean, or should we actually talk about the outs? Because we've had two outs, gentlemen.
We should. Outs, and it's worth talking about those two outs. And I'm not sure. It's such a shame, and I feel so sorry for one of the outs, to be quite honest with you, because I think that Will Jarvis was steered a bum deal by the club when they brought him back in the summer, to be quite honest with you. I don't think he was well treated by the club. I think he was, he had the chance to, I think he might have even won a medal out there, might he, in Ireland.
What unlikely. He had a stormer over there. Yes. He had a stormer.
He was playing really well. And then to call him back just before that, he gets the chance for that, and then not to play him, you can see why the lad's been disappointed, and all you can hope that, the move works well for him, and, it gets the old Will Jarvis that we all know playing as well as he did do before.
Yeah, it's got to be disappointing, isn't it? Because we played Omar on the wing, who isn't a winger, isn't we? Tamara's not been playing well. Longman's been injured, and he still couldn't get in the team no matter who wasn't there or who was there. He wasn't in the team at all, was he, Hadley? A couple of times on the bench. I think he had a couple of 10-minute spells. It's a shame for him. As you say, he came back. I thought it was going to be more or less, well, obviously maybe not first choice, but I thought any injuries which we got, he would be in there, in the frame, and it seemed to be anything but him. And it's a bit disappointing, especially when you have Omar, who is not a winger at all. He's a number 10, and he hasn't played that well anyway. But to stick him on the wing when you've actually got a winger is ridiculous. And I feel sorry for the lad, and I hope it works out for him. I think it's Notts County he's gone to, isn't it? I hope it works out there for him. And I think, let's hope he does well there, and credit to him for sort of biting the bullet and going.
Well, Harry's mentioned it in the chat. Jarvis got the entire pre-season to show something, and I have to agree with him there. He did have quite a bit of the pre-season, and I know he wasn't happy to be back over here. I can get that you're not happy, but surely if you're a young lad / professional footballer, you kind of want to go out there and prove that you can step up, because I don't want to. I'm not insulting what the league he was playing in, or even the league he's gone to now. But he was a bigger fish in a small pond.
Yeah, it's not the championship, is it?
Yeah, it's not the championship. And he's gone and done the same type of move again to become that big fish in a small pond, because he does have that ability. But was it a case of he's come to a bigger pond and he was now a smaller fish, and the attitude of, I don't want to be, I want it to be over there? I mean, that kind of really affected him coming back. Personally, it looked like he couldn't be bothered.
Can I play devil's advocate here and just say, we're talking about him coming back for pre-season. He didn't get a break like the other players got. All the other players got a break. He's come straight from playing and then come to us for pre-season. So he's had no break like the rest of them.
True, but he wasn't playing for us either. So
no, he wasn't playing for us, Christian. But you've got to think, if he'd have stayed where he was, it's Shelbourne he was at Inter.
Shelbourne,
yeah. So if he'd have stayed at Shelbourne, he'd have got a medal, because I think they got the one. Didn't they win the league?
They won it, yeah.
Yeah, so they won the league, so he'd have got a winner's medal. He'd have then got 6 weeks off to go on holiday somewhere with his family or his friends or whatever, and then he goes back to there or does something else. What's happened is he's not got a winner's medal. I can't put the other finger up because it'll look wrong. He's not got a winner's medal. He's not. Yeah, I'll do it that way. He's not got any He's not got any holiday. He's come to us, to a manager that's already been said that he wants the best manager in the world. Loads of players have come out and said how bad it was.
Yeah.
And then they didn't get played. So, I can hear what you're saying, but, he's a young lad. You've got to think about these things when you're thinking about these young lads. We're all a lot older. We're all more experienced and things like that. And we might have taken a different route with it. But he's a young lad. He's had no holiday. He didn't get his winner's medal that he should have got. How mad are you going to be?
A young lad getting 4 figures a week.
Yeah, but we can't just keep saying, players get paid and that's it.
I know, but when you're a professional, if you're a professional, I understand you can be upset. But if you're a professionally paid to do a job, I understand he wasn't happy. Yeah, I understand Tim Walters was absolutely god-awful, and he will be forever known as the worst manager to ever walk through the doors of Hull City. Forever. I agree. But I know we're older, but I'll say this to my kids. I've got 3 of them. If you're earning that amount of money and you're still moaning, get out my house. Just go. I don't want you near me. Tell me that you're earning that amount of cash and you can't be bothered to work. It's entitlement. And
I'm not sure where this has come from. Jarvis hasn't moaned.
It's
just speculation.
It's speculation from what's been heard. I agree. Sorry, it's speculation from what's being said about and his attitude of being at the club. But if any of that's true, I mean, I know you're not happy being played, but you've got to go out there and fight for your spot like every normal footballer would. If you really wanted to play at a higher standard and prove that you're a higher player standard, surely you go out there. Because you can't say when we watched him when he came on, he gave 100%. Did it look like he gave 100%?
I don't know. Listen, I think it's really hard to judge him because I don't think he got a lot of minutes. I don't think when he first came, he got a few minutes, but it was pre-season, and then when the season starts, you've signed another 16 players, 17 players if you include Pedro. You then get pushed to the back of the list. I can understand his frustration, to be quite honest with you. I'd have been more than frustrated. There'd have been a few foul words coming out of my mouth.
But you don't know if he was pushing for a start and
trying.
No, of course you don't.
Yeah. We don't know, do we?
It might just be thought, well, I've done it every week and they're not playing well, which the way it was the Kamara, Omar, when the 2 wingers who we lost, Balumi and Miller, the others, the ones who stepped in, I mean, Longman was injured, a part of it. So he maybe thought, I'll get into the team now, and he still wasn't getting in the team. Yeah. I can understand his frustration. I agree with you, Christian. If you're earning a lot of money for whatever you're doing, if whoever's paying you should do the right job. I agree with that totally. And if he hasn't, that's bad on him. But we don't know he hasn't, do we?
Yeah,
it's speculation. So I don't know. I think it's, I just hope he does all right at his next club, and maybe he just needs that to get his confidence back up a little bit, and maybe
I wish him the best. No, I do wish him the best, Paul. I really do.
Yeah.
And he was a really good player, and I had huge hopes for him. And obviously, I'm only going off what's been speculated about, but it's one of those things. I mean, the next player out. I mean, do any of us really are worried about this one?
Well, I thought Merlin was way too high up, and talking about Kamara and Merlin now, Merlin's left to Paderborn, and Kamara scored the 2 against Leeds. Putting Merlin was a better signing than Kamara looks a bit silly now, but that's hindsight for you.
Yeah, no, sometimes these things come back to bite you on the backside, and we'll take that. One player that we've obviously not really bothered about Malem. Has anybody bothered about Malem?
No.
I mean, look, he was here and there. That was about it.
Top assister last calendar year for the entire 2024. Amir Carvalho, Tufan, Philogene, Delap. Malem had more assists than all of them.
Absolutely crazy. One player I do want to talk about, Matty Jacob was the best performing left back in the Sky Bet Championship over the festive period, according to WhoScored.com.
I couldn't have predicted that. It just shows it's not that difficult to, Giles, who's worth £4 million, if Jacob could come in and immediately play way better than him.
Jacob, when he came in last time, did a really good job. I think he maybe needed that bit of time out of the team, but he's come back. And if you watched him against Leeds, he played a really good game against Leeds. I said, do you know what? At 60 minutes, he goes down with cramp. He's got cramp at 60 minutes, and he finished the game. He finished the game.
Yeah. That's the only thing I've got against him. He just tend to try and win a ball too early sometimes, and the ball goes past him. So I think he's got to sort that out a little bit. What?
Bit of experience, I think. That's
all. That's what I'm saying. He needs that little bit. Taking out of him, because I think about 3 times against Leeds it's happened. Luckily we got away with it, but another time it was he went for the ball that he couldn't win, and they got away from him. I think it's just his lack of experience.
Is the best performing left back in the Sky Bet Championship. I'm just going to give you that stat again. That's not from me, Paul. That's from who.
Maybe I'm a bit harsher than the other people who did that, but I just think he made 2 or 3 mistakes on another day could have cost us goals.
Bad week.
He had a decent game, but I'm just saying he needs to sort that side of his game out where he's going for a ball that he ain't going to get, and they're going to go past him. But he did play well, apart from that.
I think Harry's been harsh to everybody tonight. Isn't
he has been, hasn't he?
Harry don't like a lot of our players. I think Matty Jacob. You don't get to be in that Harry if it reminds you of the fat kid of the school that's there just kicks the ball up. No, I think that he's doing far better than that, because you don't get into who scored team of the week easy and things like that. It's not an easy thing to do. So he's obviously playing well. I thought he had all of us commented, to be quite honest, that was on our table, and there was 12 of us on the table who said that he'd had a good game. One of them on the table was a Leeds fan, and he even said what a good game that Matty Jacob had for us on Saturday. So, I'm going with them, and I think that he had a really good game on Saturday, and I hope that he can continue to keep the left back position and make it his own. I do agree with what a comment I saw a minute ago was that Giles is just waiting to go to Middlesbrough. I think he probably is, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the players that are possibly going elsewhere, we're looking at obviously Giles, who wants to go to Borough. I mean, we don't know if anything's going to come of it. Chris Berrier, I think we all can agree that he's off.
Yeah.
Burns,
some people have to be, don't they, for the spots?
They've got to be for the spots. Yeah, I mean, Burns, I'm assuming will get recalled pending on potentials coming in.
I think it depends who comes in on that one.
Yeah, Omar again is another potential, because apparently there's a club looking at him in Turkey. Richopi was one because he wasn't on the bench for Leeds.
Yeah,
after the match, he did say checking him out, hasn't he? Because he won't bothered about him not being there. So obviously he's going to be sent back or whatever.
2 more names.
He's our player is Richopi, so he'll have to get loaned out or go.
Well, that's what I think they'll be doing.
I mean, look, he's a Champions League goalkeeper, and it's like he isn't being played. He's going to want a permanent loan elsewhere, or a loan to buy. Sorry, to go elsewhere. And I agree with Neil that I think Rushworth will make an appearance in goal for against Doncaster. But another two that are potentially on the way out. One of them's been Smith. A League Two team have been looking at him.
You couldn't let Andy Smith go at the moment though, because we ain't got enough backup, have we?
Well, we haven't. But
Charlie Hughes is still, what is he, end of February?
Yeah, probably.
Well, this is the ins to talk about with that though, regarding that one though. So
go on then, Christian. You can talk the ins.
All right. Well, I'm going to finish off on one of them, which Nathaniel might want to put his stamp down, because the rumor of going out Longman.
I mean, can neither confirm nor deny.
Hearts are interested, evidently, aren't they?
Hearts are.
The Hearts are interested, and I think they were interested. Well, last year, wasn't it? Pretty much. They kind of came in for him previously, I believe. They just didn't work out. But I mean, look, the ins. We've already spoken about Matt Crooks. We've got Joe Gelhardt, loan move from Leeds. Now, a lot of people are 50-50 on this one, saying like he hasn't bagged the goals in like 80 starts. Now, can I just advise, out of those 80 starts, 50 of them have been 2 minutes on the pitch for late substitutions.
Yeah, wasting time in the last
wasting times. So to give that stat saying he's only got 6 and 30 is a bit ridiculous. 6 and 80 is a bit ridiculous, because the kid's got talent. He really does have to. I mean, he scored 2 against us, for crying out loud. And he made us look stupid when he was playing around. He was class. So to turn around and say he's not good is a bit silly, when he's got some. He's got the skill as well, and he's got the pace, and he is a grinder, and he's a definite grafter. I think another one that we haven't spoke about is the centre back Boyle from Forest. Bolly from Forest. What is he?
Well, he's very experienced, isn't he?
Very experienced. 33 years old, 6'4", 6 foot something. I mean, centre back needed, cover, yes, but would he go in? Signing him, would you drop Jones or whoever else covering that spot?
Well, McLaughlin's the one at the moment. I don't think McLaughlin's done anything particularly wrong. I think, when you look at his kit, he's coming for Charlie Hughes, and obviously Charlie Hughes has been a big, signing for us. He's done really, really well. I don't think McLaughlin's come in and done an awful lot wrong. I think he's come in and put a lot of effort in and played reasonably well. So for me, 33-year-old Bolly, would I put him in instead of him? No, definitely not.
Exactly. Another centre back.
Harry's having a real one tonight, isn't he?
He is. I mean, God, Harry, calm, son. Man.
How did we get a point against Leeds with all these players? That he
is.
I don't know. We did it.
Another one is Ryan. Is it
Porteous?
Yeah.
I'd rather have him. I mean, he's 7 years younger.
Rumour has it, take it with a pinch of salt, because his stats are he's played 20 matches, starting 16 of those 20, scored in 2, 4 clean sheets, interceptions per game 1.4, tackles per game 1.7, recoveries per game 3.2, clearances per game 3.6, and duels 1.5. As averages per game. So they're really good stats. For someone to say he is on the way out from Watford, but yet he's played 20 games for them this season.
Who's he said who's he insulted at Watford for them to sell him?
The rumour has it that him and the managers had a bit of a falling out. That's the rumour. Now, do we know any truth by it? Of course we don't. It's a rumour. But we've been advised, take it with a pinch of salt. Another one is one that we've gone in for a million times already, Tom Cannon up top. But he's on loan to Stoke until summer. So to say we've got the highest bid for him, I mean, are we bidding for him now and waiting to the summer? Or are Leicester City, are they going to recall
Yeah, well, they could always do that if they've got a bid in, couldn't they? Could recall and do it that way. Wait, is it the transfer window shuts on the 2nd of February? Am I right in thinking that?
I think you're right there. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got some 2nd of February. So there's still, around about 4 weeks of the transfer window to sort out getting a few out and getting some more in. When you looked at
I would like to see him in before the Millwall game, as many as we can, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that's the thing. And there's one that's been put down off the radar, a winger. Was it Louis Barry from Villa?
Yeah, there's two. There's a mystery one that we've signed or agreed a permanent deal for, and then there's Louis Barry, who, of course, he's at Villa, he's been at Stockport, everyone wants him. Interesting.
But how do we know with these? That's the thing. So there's a lot of targets, which is great, and obviously we all want them in before, like we say, the next away game, Millwall.
I think it's a 2 week sort of gap in. Well, it's obviously not 2 weeks now, but sort of a 2 week gap.
Yeah, you've got
a good Millwall. You want to get them in if you can, at least the second week, so you can work with them
in. To be fair, before Doncaster.
Be nice to get them in before Doncaster.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to say about, we commented a little bit about it on Saturday, was that when you looked at the squad that Ruben had to select from, obviously they included injuries and things like that on Saturday. The list was as long as your arm.
The bench was really quite limited.
It was quite limited, but the actual list of players that was on the list that you was talking about is absolutely, it was longer than, a third longer than Leeds. And that just goes to show how much work needs to be done to try and move players out and give us the ability to be able to sign some more, because Ruben's said honestly that he would like to trim the squad back a bit because it's too large at the moment. So we're probably going to see more outgoings than incomings, I would think. And if he does that right, I've not got a problem with it. Have you, Paul?
No, definitely. I mean, you can only play 11, can't you? 5 subs you can bring on, so 16. Obviously, you've got to account for a few injuries, but two of the injuries are long term, aren't they? Palumi and Miller. So you just take them out, wouldn't you, completely? Zambrano, he's not going to get his ban over 10, I wouldn't have thought myself. So he's another one you can take out. So even though there's a big list, that's 3 that realistically ain't going to play for us this season, isn't it? So yeah, I think we can get a few out on loan and get some decent players in. I mean, you don't want to be. I've always said with loan players, you want them to be part of the squad. You don't want them coming in necessarily straight away and being your 3 or 4, 5 main players, because that's what happened last season with Liam. All our team was built around the loan signings. All right, we got 1 or 2 injuries, I know, but that was the problem. End of the year, I said it on Tiger Pop a couple of times. If we don't get promotion this year, which was like last year, we'll be in trouble because we had so many loan signings, and it's just proved that I was right. Not that I want to take any plaudits for that, but you've got to have a balance of the two, I think. Loan signings, to help you out and make things stronger, but not to become your main players. I know it's hard sometimes, defend how bad you are, but we have got the makings of a reasonable team, I think. We just need some extra people in to bolster it up a bit. As we said, the midfield, you've got this Crooks coming in, because you wouldn't drop Puerta or Alzati. You've got cover a little bit for Alzati with Simons. So, would you drop? And, even Slater, as I know he's missed some goals, but he puts the effort in. So that's his 3 midfielders. The defenders, we could do a bit more with cover with the defence. It's your forwards what we need, because we haven't got many forwards. All right. You're proving it, are you?
So that's the programme from Saturday. And there's 10 more players on Hull City's side than is on Leeds' side.
And yet we had 10 fewer at the actual match. So about 20. Do we have 20 injuries? I guess we.
It's absolutely crazy that's what I'm saying. When we looked at that we all looked at it on Saturday, and we all.
How many keepers are on them?
How many keepers are on there? Let me tell you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 keepers on there.
Well, that's half your extra in it straight
just
away.
Us.
That's it. 6. So the 6 keepers is Pandor, Rachopi, Lototala, Cartwright, Foster. and Rushworth. Did I name Rushworth? They're the keepers. So Pandor, Rushworth, Richoppy, Lototala, Cartwright, and Foster. There you go.
We have to cut the squad down. I think it's an absolute must. We've got too many keepers for the start. I mean, let's go to play all 6 in one game.
I'm surprised we've not been linked with any more goalkeepers because we
I think we was at the very beginning, and I think all the fan base went absolutely balmy and
the Turkish
straight away. Yeah, the Turkish
one from Man United, yeah.
And everyone just went nuts and like, oh no, we're only joking. We don't want another keeper.
I think if we signed 6 or 7 good, decent additions, and get 10 or 12 out on loan, I think that's what we need. Obviously get maybe ready 1 or 2 an awful lot on loan, but if you can't get them into another team permanently, get them on loan somewhere, and sort of
Saturday coming up.
Deadwood a bit.
With Saturday coming up against Doncaster, it'd be a really good chance
Christine,
for those. Sunday.
You'll be there on your own.
Sunday at 12. Sorry, God's sake. I told you I need a rest. Right.
Rewind, Christian.
Rewind. Right, everybody. Sunday,
don't go on radio, just by the way.
The weekend. You'll be there weekend.
You can't see Christian on the radio. He's sat here, he's got his hat on because he can't afford any heating in his house, and he's freezing cold.
I can tell you right now, this dog has been in and out about 18 times out this back door. It's getting chilly.
Paint a picture for people on the radio. Sorry, Christian, go on.
But it'd be nice to see these players that we're talking about getting out on loan or actually just getting out in general. It'd be nice to let some of those type of players play this weekend.
But you can't cup tie them because if you do that, then they can't, they've got a problem, haven't they? Can't play in the cup for the clubs that they're going to.
I'd rather play the new signings if we can get them in, perhaps.
And speaking of new signings, Andrew's been in touch on the WhatsApp saying that he was hoping that would have made a couple of new signings on the 1st of January, like when we signed Aaron McLean and Matty Fryer. It shows intent to get things sorted, which the club obviously do want to do.
I don't know how much of an impact they could have really made against a top team, but maybe one signing like Crooks would have scored Slater's chance. We could have been leaving with 3 points, maybe. So maybe that would have helped.
There you go. We've got 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the radio. We're going to talk a little bit before we go about the Doncaster game. I personally wouldn't change much for the Doncaster game. I know you're probably all going to disagree with me, but I'd be tempted to keep these lads rolling that have played against Leeds because it's a week till the next game as well. And, to try and keep them fit, to try and keep them hungry, I'd probably play them all again.
Got to drop Pedro.
Well,
he needs a rest. He
need Pedro to have a rest. I would say Pandor, give him a break. Bring Rushworth out.
Try Rushworth, yeah.
Try Rushworth. Couple of the young lads as well, like Cyrus Fleming up top. Definitely. Take Coyle out, yeah. Drame getting warmed up.
If you get Vaughan in, Burstow in the middle, you can have. I think you also start Kamara, maybe get him another goal, build that confidence.
Yeah. I'd say mix it up. Definitely mix it up.
I'd probably play Alzati, I think, because he probably still needs a bit of game time.
Yeah.
He's taking him off every week, isn't he? So he might need a bit of game time. Maybe rest later.
Because we've not won for 4 years. It would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be nice to win, Nathan. You're right. Nathaniel.
It would be 11 years since we got to the final.
It would be nice to go through to to the next round for a change. It certainly would.
Let's win it.
And that's possibly why I'd nearly stick with the team that we've been playing. To be honest with you, I do agree with you. Pedro is one of those that could maybe do with the break. I'm not sure about Pandor. I mean, there's been lots of mixed talk about Pandor, but he obviously was at fault for the third goal on Saturday. But then his header saves another goal. So
what a header that was! Yeah, God, I can't believe we didn't discuss that.
Amazing.
Coming out of water, that was.
So for me, I'd probably keep Pandor in. To be honest,
I don't know. I think the trouble is if you keep the same keeper and then he does get an injury, he's saying to somebody come in maybe in a big game. I think a game like Doncaster, should be an easier game, let's say, than the Championship. So I would be tempted to bring Rushworth in, to be quite honest, to give him, because he hasn't had a game, has he, for ages? I mean, last season, wasn't it, when he last played?
Yeah.
He hasn't played for us at all, has he? So I would definitely give Pandor a rest. Nothing against him. I just think as a keeper, he might need a game, to sort of feel in it a little bit, especially playing with the way they do from the back nowadays. You've got to play it out a bit, and I think getting used to the players that way. So I certainly would change the keeper. Nothing to do with Pandor's making a mistake on Saturday or anything, but I just think to give him a rest and give the keeper a bit of game time.
It'd be really interesting to see what Ruben does on Sunday, Christian. It's a 12 o'clock kickoff at the MKM Stadium. There's plenty of tickets available if you're a Hull City fan. If you're a Doncaster fan, you've had it because they've sold out their allocation already. It should be, an interesting one. Should be, I think, a reasonable crowd. And, we might get a reasonable atmosphere because of that, of them selling out their end. So let's hope for a good game. Just for the radio, I've been Eddie Wright.
I've been Christian Sorensen.
I've been Nathaniel Whitto.
And I've been Paul Wright.
And we'll be back with you next Wednesday at the same time of 7 o'clock. Please join us then if you can. And just give me a second and I will get rid of that and then we'll carry on here. Sorry about that. There we go. Sorted. So that's the radio done. I've enjoyed tonight, lads. I think it was. It's been a good podcast. Is there anything further that we haven't talked about that anybody would like to talk about before we go?
I think we've mentioned obviously the people's ins and outs. I think it is important. Really important at the moment that we do get those kind of fringe players out, and I'd be happier hearing things like Chris Beddy's already gone. I would be a lot happier.
You and me both would be happy with that, Christian. I can tell you.
It's one of those, like, we've got Cyrus Fleming, and I know he's a young lad. I know he's small. He hasn't got any proven, but we've seen Chris Beddy, and he's not going to be any worse. It can't be any worse. So there's a type of player.
He's our player, isn't he?
And he's our player, yeah. And Ruben likes using the youth as well, the younger lads. And Chris Beddy's even come out and said it. He finds it hard to train and understand what's wanted for him because
that's a bit harsh.
But he's saying like he doesn't understand Ruben, and he says Ruben speaks too fast sometimes, so he has to go to Pedro or somebody else to break it down to understand what he needs to do. And when he came on as a sub against Middlesbrough, all I saw from when he came on was Slater literally going, "You need to be there. You need to be there. Chris over there. Chris over there." And it was like, how is Reagan got to direct you throughout the while you've come on the pitch? Because then you're not paying attention to his own game. So you're a detriment. You're detrimental to everybody else.
Well, when you talked about Harry Vaughan watching the game, and if he's struggling a little bit, he should just watch what Pedro does.
Yeah, but
it's not. You don't have to be a Philadelphia lawyer to think, well, he's playing well. What's he doing different to me? He's getting chosen. I'm sitting on the bench. What's he doing? And you watch his game surely and think, well, yeah, I've got to start having to do that and chase people down and make myself hard to get the ball off. And he isn't, for the size of him. He's not hard.
He's never in the right position, is he? You think I was looking at him and I'm thinking, push forward a bit, push forward a bit, push forward a bit. And he's just back there all the time. You're thinking, we need a out ball, and you're the out ball, and you're not there, so we can't have the out ball. Yeah. And to be honest with you, he's one of the most frustrating players that we get to watch. I'll tell you, he is special. I've never seen someone. Well done, thanks, Ashley.
Is that the Blackburn game? Oh, that was great.
Blackburn game. Yeah, it was
a great moment.
Ashley's said a few things about Maka. Look, when it comes to Maka, he is still a good backup. That's how I would word it. He's a good backup.
Well, you've got to say Sean's been with us for a long time now. Exactly. I don't know exactly how long Sean's been with us, but he's been with us a long time. He's been a really good servant for Hull City. He's always
now, I think.
He's always done what's been asked of him. He's been on the bench, and he'll go on the bench and he'll sit there and he'll come on if somebody's injured. He never moans about it. He's been a really good servant for Hull City. Yeah. So anybody that's slagging off Sean, Please don't, because, you don't get many players that committed to a club in the same way that Mac has been with us. So, I think we've got to give Macca his due. I'll be honest with you, and he's not the most talented player, but he always gives you full effort every single game.
Yeah.
And if you had, 10 people in the team that was giving you the effort that Sean's giving you, with a bit more skill maybe than Sean's got, then you won half of a really good team. And that's the problem that we've had this season, is that there's not been enough players giving enough effort.
When Rossini came in, one of the first people he brought back was Macca. And that's how we kept a lot of clean sheets when he was there. He's not that bad a player. He's maybe not as good as some others, obviously, but as you say, he doesn't let us down very often. He makes the odd mistake, but don't they all?
Yeah,
it's not a one-person thing, is it? So, as I say, I think he's been a pretty decent servant, as you say, and he's been brought on sometimes after not playing for weeks and things like that. And, he still does a good job, as good a job as he can. He's not got any pace. That's one of his problems, I think. He hasn't got any pace. But, effort-wise, he puts it in every time. You can't call the lad for that. That is a certainty. And he has been a good servant for Hull City.
Yeah, he has been. He's been here it's his 6th year this year. He joined us in July 2019. His contract actually expires next year, so the June 2026. We have got an option for an extra year if we want it. So, as a player, as we've said, to come in and cover you when you've got injuries and stuff like that, he's great to have on your books. Currently valued at $1.5 million.
Yeah. Can't complain at that. I mean, look, if someone comes in for him, I think us four here would agree we'd be gutted to see him go for his services that he does. But the only reason why you would have to let him go, some reason, is because, well, again, you've got Hughes, who would be the first choice over him. But then at the same time, other potential signings coming in, so it would kind of push him back. And it's more to do, like I say, just that kind of standard is that. But services, and you ask him to do a job, he will 100% do it. Someone else who I would say 110% effort every game, and someone else who I would say is definitely whole heart, everything, but his form is being absolutely getting worse and worse and worse. I hate to say it, is Louis Coyle.
You're not the only person to criticise him. I think a lot of people have said that. Yeah,
has got to a point where he needs a break. I think that's the stage we've got with Louis Coyle, and he would be another one on Sunday. Don't play him.
Yeah,
let him have a break.
Did he not play well enough against Leeds?
No, not really. No. I think though he did his job, and he again 110% effort, you could still see the points where, because I'm going to say it is because he's tired. He wasn't positive enough a lot of the time in his play. When he was already pre-up the pitch, he was. But trying to build something from the back, there was no forward thinking.
Is that not down to the change in tactics that we've had? He played so well under Tim's tactics, running across the field, and then he's got a different tactic to try and play, and he's trying to do that now. Is that not a fair thing to say?
It's fair to say, but is it right, Eddie? We don't know. I mean, look, you're telling me you can't see that the guy isn't tired.
Listen, I think that the Middlesbrough game, he didn't have a good game. I don't think he had that bad a game against Leeds, to be honest with you. Would I have started him in the Leeds game? I probably wouldn't. No, I'd have probably put Drameh there, to be quite honest with you, because it's his old club. He either wanted to show him something, things like that. So that would have probably been my start for me. And he maybe does need a little bit of a break. But when you saw him have that break in the game, was it the game before? And then he comes on and he takes over at left back and he plays so well at left back. He did really well in that game when he came on and played at left back. So, you can look at things in different ways. And I think that as fans, sometimes we're really quick to get on somebody's back if they're not playing well. And we don't think about all the other things that could be going on and could have caused that problem. And I think that's, as fans, sometimes we need to look at ourselves and say, are we right to be criticising that player at that particular time?
But all I'm saying is, form-wise, currently, no one can dispute his form hasn't been there recently. I'm not criticising him.
I don't think he's been as good as he has become.
I'm not criticising his effort. I'm not even criticising him starting and things like that. What I am criticising, though, is his form at the moment just isn't right. And I mean, what do you do? I
definitely would take him out Sunday. I wouldn't even think about putting him. I'd definitely play Drama. He needs to be the no matter how good or how much effort he puts in, to be fair to the lad, he played with numerous injuries, hasn't he? Over the last couple of seasons, he has been a stalwart for Hull City over the time. But at the moment, I think his form has dipped a bit, and I don't think there's any problem with taking him out against Doncaster. I think Drama's a decent right back, and I think it'll give him a chance to have a rest.
I think
why not?
That's it. Drama is a really good right back. And he's the more attacking. The guys in chat here, I mean, Ashley and Harry and Neil, I think they're all saying the same thing about how Drama is the better player going forward. And he's especially in the final third because he's a lot trickier. He's got a lot more skill. He does his little back heel flicks. I mean, that back heel flick to get for the Blackburn goal, the Blackburn win. I mean, you saw it. So there's evidence that Drama is a player. I guess. Are we looking at that type of player moving forward? Would he push Louis Coyle out the spot? It's hard to say moving forward, but all I can advise is right now is Louis Coyle needs a break. He looks spent.
It'll be interesting.
That was what I was going to say. Spent, exactly.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what the team is on Sunday and what team he does go with. It'd be nice to be talking on Tiger Talk next Wednesday about the fourth round of the FA Cup for a change. That would be really good to be talking about. It'd be nice to be talking about a win. It'd be nice to be talking about a clean sheet as well.
You dare tempt me with those words.
It'd be nice to be talking about, and I'm sure. Although Joe's took some flack, I'm sure it was just in jest tonight on the chat here. He'll be back with us next week. Thanks all for joining us tonight. It's been really good to have you along. We'll be back next Wednesday at 7:00. Your usual podcast, the main one, will be up on Sunday somewhere around about 7:00 when they can be bothered to turn on the button.
We're always 10 minutes late.
Yeah. So it'll be 7:10 on Sunday for you for the main podcast. I've been Eddie Wright.
Yeah, Christian Sorensen.
I've been Nathaniel Wetto.
And I've been Paul Wright.
And we'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Whoa.